Hey everybody, welcome back inside the stash. So we're gonna take another look at some recent arrivals into the mound, as it were, for everybody. Yeah, look, coming home. Ooh. um, so we have a couple of decal sheets because what would one of these be without a couple of decal sheets? A few things to photo etch that go to kits that we received as well, and yeah, that about covers it, I guess. So first up, from splash paints, I've decided to go ahead and give these guys a test out. Why not? All right, excuse me. I got their Evangeline Purple, which, of course, the camera wasn't a part of because it would much rather point out what a great collection of kits I have back there. There we go. All right, so this color specifically goes to a Hobby Design AMG GT3 set of decals. So I believe this will also be the correct purple, or close enough for government work, for one of the McLaren 12Cs that Fujimi did. There's also a purple Evangeline, one of those, so I'm pretty sure this is the same color or close enough. I actually ordered just this color. I received it and it was leaking. Something happened in the shipping end of things where the little vacuum seal around the cap did not seal. I contacted Sam as soon as it came, and really it only leaked out just like a little itty bitty bit. It wasn't like it was pouring all over the inside of the box or anything. It lost maybe a milliliter of the paint out of it, and he instantaneously was like, "Oh, I'm going to send you another one for free." Just because that shouldn't have happened, and it's appreciated. And so while I was sitting there in chat with him, I also got a set of his GT3 Sprint headlights, which I actually, funny story, I actually made an entire one of these the last time I was home at Christmas time, and it's 32 minutes of me, because for some reason there's absolutely no volume to it. Somebody said I should have subtitled it and released it anyway. Of course, the problem being that, me, I blather on for minutes at a time about everything, so I would have had to chop it up to make it even tolerable. So, anyway, I got that. And like I said, while I was in chat with him, I was talking to him about the R31, the Skyline GTS-R, the kit that Hasegawa made. And it's sort of the street version of the race car kit, the Calsonic race car kit, which is behind me. Like, literally, you can't see it. I was going to go, ooh, it's right there, but no, it's literally behind my chair. You'll never see it. Those cars, they made 800 of them to meet Group A homogenization rules. Were all painted this code, this BG8, what is known as bluish black. They were all 800 of them were this specific color. And Splash Paints will custom mix a color if you have the paint code stuff, information for it. And I think it's like $14 for 2 liters of paint, which is about right because this is like $7, $8. So it's not like it's, oh my god, I can't believe it. Be interested to see if he carries this in the regular line. I guess if you guys asked him, he probably would because clearly he can make it. It's a very cool color because it's like I said, almost black, but you can see that it is a dark blue. So that's fun. Whenever I get around to that, I will certainly have enough paint for it because I believe. I'd have to look at the instructions on it, but I believe that's one of those kind of things where it's a unibody car where the chassis has to also be the same color as the body. At least the Calsonic car is that way. I assume the street car is as well. So having that extra 10 milliliters of paint means I can paint the chassis without having to worry about running out of paint for the body as well. So that's cool. I will put in an order to Hobby Design, the 1999 web address that's always at the end of our stash report videos. For the new decals that Shunko Decals released for the 4GT Le Mans kit. Somebody's texting me. Take a look at what they're saying while I'm doing this. So they sent me what amounts to a shop card. It is currently this year is the 20th anniversary of Hobby Design. They started in January of 1999. I guess that's probably the shtick of why the website is what it is. And 20 years later, of course, they're probably, I'm going to say this, maybe not the second most popular, but the second largest self-exporting company, or self-importing, however you look at it, Japanese company out there. Now, of course, they sell a lot more to Japan in general. You have to like put their their website into English. They have an English translation. It's this the .jp /English, but they also sell within Japan. Now, Hobbylink Japan does sell to a Japanese market, but the only thing they sell to the Japanese market are kits that are imported into Japan. So your Revels, your Round 2s, your Mengs, and all the Chinese manufacturers of IPMS type models, whereas Hobby Search, like, they'll sell within Japan. So I don't use them a whole heck of a lot. The prices tend to be a little bit higher than HLJ in general, but at the same time, they tend to carry some stuff in stock longer than Hobbylink Japan does. Hobbylink Japan likes to claim things have gone out of stock when they clearly have not. And so, like I said, I got these 2 sets of decal sheets. We talked about them last month when they were announced. They are the GT 4 GT decals. This one is for the Team UK. So you get enough decals here basically to make both the Le Mans 24-hour Le Mans car for 2018 and the 2018 6 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. That's what this decal layout on the back here is for. It's for the 24 hours of Spa. There's a decal layout on the other side for the actual Le Mans car. But I think it's very cool that they included the option to do the World Endurance Championship race, just to give you something a little different to go with, rather than it being, just another 24-hour Le Mans livery. Because obviously the kit itself has the 2017 24 hours of Le Mans car in it, so it's kind of cool to be able to do something a little bit, a little bit different with that. And then the other set is this, which is for the USA team, which ran, of course, also ran Le Mans, but it primarily ran the IMSA WeatherTech series here in the United States. That was focused for a second, and then it went away. There we go. So this, of course, has the IMSA WeatherTech logos and whatnot. Not a heck of a lot of difference. And it is the same thing where the opposite side of this piece of paper has the Le Mans logos on it, but this decal sheet's a little bit bigger because of the differences in tire manufacturers and the differences in the windshield wraps, depending on whether or not you're using the U.S. car, the U.S. race, the 24 Hours of Daytona, or if you're using the 24 Hours of Le Mans version. Also, there's different sets of numbers as far as the fonts go, because the cars ran 66 and 67 here in the United States, but over in Le Mans, wrong side, they're 68 and 69 because these guys were 66 and 67, the Team UK guys. So these 2 decal sheets will require you to, and I don't, for my European friends, I don't know if Zero does them or not. I imagine they probably do or they will. But this requires you to go through Splash or Gravity or somebody to get the new 2018 paint for it. Both the companies have done them. The difference between your competition colors from the 2016-2017 Ford GTs and these new paint colors for 2018 is on the 2018 cars, the blue and the red are metallic. Rather, the 2016-2017 cars were solid colors. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Whether or not it matters to you, it's up to you. But to be correct, you need the metallic colors from one or the other. You probably, if you really, really cared about the colors being correct on your 16 or 17 car, you had gotten your colors already through them anyway, because both those companies, and I also believe Zero as well, offered the regular competition red, competition blue colors that the 2016, 2017 cars used. So those are, like I said, out there and available. I think I've seen one place where the UK decals are still in stock. But the USA ones seem to have sold out everywhere. Now, those are made by Shunko. Shunko's in Japan. I know the irony of, them making a Japanese company making American decals, or decals for an American race. But be that as it may, they're there. Now, if you're interested in this year's 24 Hours of Daytona, which, of course, was more like the 24 Hours of NOAA that just happened here a few days ago, I can tell you for sure that Diego over at Racing Decals 43 It's going to do both liveries, both the Motorcraft livery and the Castrol livery. I also, from what I understand, is going to be doing this year's Turner Motorsports car. He did last year's Turner Motorsports car already earlier in the fall, and he's going to be doing the P1 Racing AMG, which is the one that has like the purple psychedelic dragon on the side of it. If you've seen that picture, go to if you're on Facebook, go to World of GT3, and they have some pictures from the 24 Hours of Daytona that include that paint scheme. There's also Riley Motorsports did a car that has sort of a throwback livery of its own, sponsored by Wins, the lubricant manufacturer, who remember their NASCAR. Maybe remember when Wins sponsored. I'm trying to think of who it was now. It was in my head and it's gone. It was an Oldsmobile. I want to say it was Buddy Baker, but that's probably not right. Dang it. It was right there on my tongue, and then I lost it. I'm thinking too far ahead in this video. But at any rate, Wins also sponsored NASCAR back in the 80s. I wasn't aware that Wins still existed as a company, but it does. It's owned by somebody else, but it's still there. So I'm going to take the camera and we'll flip it around so we can show you the actual model kit itself. And so we'll be back in like 30 seconds. Well, that's kind of obvious what we're doing here, isn't it? I realized as I turned the camera around, stuff's piled up here. So I went to my local hobby shop and I picked up the one kit that's on the bottom of this pile. And so I picked up a few other things while I was there. First up is this 1960 Chevrolet Custom Fleet Side. This, of course, is the reissue that just came out with the retool of the 1970s go-kart in it. I picked this up not so much because of the go-kart. Really couldn't care one way or the other. You want a go-kart, let me know. But I never bought the actual kit itself back when it was new, or any of the reissues since then. I don't know why. I think I mentioned this when we did the January kit announcements as to this kit coming back out and never having purchased it. I don't know if I thought maybe it was an old kit, back in the day. At the same time when this kit originally came out, I was like 14 years old, so maybe a 1960 Chevrolet wasn't really, up there to me in 1993. But be that as it may, this kit is back out. It's molded in white. It looks pretty good as far as just the overall condition. I was in it a little bit last night when we were on our live stream with Dustin and Mike. But, yeah, I mean, it seems to have held up pretty well as far as the tooling condition goes and things like that. Let's see here. Got to sort of move the box around as I go. Next up is the new tool, 1968 Chevy Chevelle SS396. I don't know why we can't make this just be Chevrolet. I realize it would then make this 2 lines long, and you'd probably have to make the font smaller, but calling things that are Chevys, when doing a proper name like this, just annoys me, which I guess is a personal thing, but it just... The English person that was, beaten in junior year English to use, like, proper nouns and things like that, just Chevy Chevelle. No, nobody would ever call it that. You'd say you have a Chevy, or you say you have a Chevelle, but you would never say to somebody, hey, come check my Chevy Chevelle out. At any rate, I have been through this. Again, I was on the live stream last night. This really looks good. I am not a big fan of just blowing smoke up your hiney as far as Revell kits go. You guys should know that by now if you've been on this channel for a while. But this really does look good. It's not Tamiya good or anything like that, but for Revell itself, this seems to be on par with like the 2930 Fords as far as molding, design, engineering, and the overall molding quality and stuff like that. What's very interesting about this is the bottom of the box appears to have been redone since the original box art was done, if you will, because it's all about Revell of Germany on the bottom, but the actual box itself is still showing an Elk Grove, Illinois address. So obviously the box art was all designed and printed prior to the actual bankruptcy and the sale going through. So we told you that the kit was already in the works prior to the bankruptcy, but not only was the kit in the works, but the box art was already done and approved and printed probably. Obviously, it's much cheaper to just print a little, brown non-color box bottom rather than printing the 4-color glossy boxes. So the stripes in here are in like black, white, and I believe it's red. So you have a variety of colors. You're not stuck with just painting, one of the box art colors. You'll see when you get one of these things, it's very interesting. These tulip panels back here on the back are separate pieces, so you can clearly see where the 69 Chevelle is going to come out of this in terms of the way the kit is engineered. Also, The chrome sprue, it's very easy to see where the other side of the tooling goes as far as where the bumpers and the tail light panel and things like that for the 69 is. I can't swear to you there will be a 69, but I can almost promise you there will be. How about that? So this is the last kit I got from my local hobby shop. I know I'm buying a Tamiya kit in the United States. I've lost my mind. Well, there is the fact that you cannot buy these anywhere else. That is the problem right now. It is, as I'm filming this, the 30th of January. So one more day of January, and that's going to be February. This kit was just released in the United States on Monday of this week. Officially everywhere. Yeah, that doesn't count for people like Andy who get early kits and things like that. But for all of us unwashed masses, this just came out on Monday. But there's still no way to pre-order it in Japan. At this point, I can't tell you when this kit is going to be released in Japan. It has a late February release date in Hong Kong. But if you were going to open this kit for pre-orders, I would think it would have already happened. I'm wondering if this isn't going to come out in March or perhaps even later than that to tie it a little closer to the TSO50 in terms of kit distribution. The TSO50 is already being shown at the Nuremberg Toy Fair because today's the first day of that. So we're seeing like the pictures of the kit. Looks pretty good. We'll talk about it in the regular stash report next week. But I don't know when we're going to get it in Japan. This kit has a 3,800 yen price in Japan, which probably means it will sell for somewhere in the neighborhood of $33 when your discounts are taken into effect at places like HobbyLink Japan or Hobby Search. And then it's going to cost you like another $8 to $10 to ship it back over here. I paid $43.20 for mine, which means that it's pretty much even. There's really no advantage to buying it in Japan. And I have it now and I don't have to wait. So there is that. The kit itself looks really great. Sorry, somebody was texting me with something again from work. I had to actually pay attention to that one. The kit looks great. It's typical Tamiya quality. I know there's been several reviews of this done already, so I won't bore you with all the details per se. But it's looks really good. I'm happy with it. And then we go to our HobbyLink Japan shipment here, which doesn't have as much as you might think it would. We're still sort of cleaning up the past, although this one has more kits from the current than it does from the past. First up is this. This is the brand new reissue of the BMAX Toyota TA64 Celica for the 1985 Hausmann Gal Rally. Also, the 1984 Rally Oman version is in here. This kit is effectively the body of the gravel rally kit, or excuse me, the body of the tarmac rally kit with the suspension for the gravel rally. So it sort of mixes the two kits together. That was what I was looking at this one when I originally got the decals to do this one. Taboo Graphics makes the decals with all the Marlboro logos in it. Now, of course, you can buy the Marlboro logos from Autocolor, and I'm sure somebody else along the way will end up doing them if you don't, Rege or Renaissance, somebody, because they've been doing the fill-in decals for these kits as well. I think Rege for a fact is at least going to do the Belga logos. They may skip the Marlboro ones only because, like I said, Taboo already did them. But the only new pieces in this kit are these mini leg wheels that are in the Rally Oman. Otherwise, it's just a combination of the two existing kits. If you want to order photo etch for this, it takes the Portugal Rally, which is the tarmac rally car photo etch, but there are not, it's not a specific photo etch set, so it doesn't have the cigarette logos. This has Belga, which is a Belgium, a Belgish, I believe it would be Flemish, actually, would be the word I'm looking for, but it doesn't have a cigarette company that was based out of Belgium, and this is a Marlboro-sponsored car. So you need to pick up either aftermarket decals entirely, like the Taboo one has all of the decals. It's not just the Marlboro logos. It is the placards and all the associate sponsorships. And then Autocolor, which is BMAX's decal company, they have one that just has Marlboro liveries and Belga liveries. And then, like I said, Rege is doing a sheet in the coming weeks that is going to have the Belga logos and liveries on it as well. Like I said, other than that, it's the same kit, so there's nothing really to talk about, to get really terribly excited about. But except, like I said, it has new wheels, and for me, I think I told you guys this back when I was telling you that kit was coming out. I bought those Marlboro decals thinking I wanted to make that car specifically, and then ha ha ha, jokes on me. It was a situation where the two kits as they're issued as a gravel car and as a tarmac car, the Raleigh Oman is like a combination of the two cars as far as the external experience, the external appearance goes. So I was going to have to do something with that. So happy to not have to buy two kits and kit batch them. I can just buy one. Next up, this was a little bit of an older kit that I couldn't pick up, justify spending the money on when I was on my UPS broke tour. This is the A85 Corolla Levin from 1985. The A85 is all about the engine size as far as the liters. Like I think it's a 1.5 or something like that. Four banger. There is no engine in this. They created these new wheels, these new poverty wheels, and put it into just the 1985 Levin kit because the rest of the kit is pretty much the same to create this very basic down trim entry level Levin. So it's very cool just from the aspect of being a Toyota collector. I mean, for everybody else, probably don't care one way or the other. But it does have masks for two tones if you want to make this like a Panda car. It's mentioning the engine on the side of this thing, but I'm pretty sure that there is no engine insert in here because they would have to like tool parts for the the downgraded engine, and they didn't. So yeah, there's no engine in here. The poverty wheels are on a black parts runner rather than being plated, so you have to paint those silver. I think technically they're like steel wheels with hubcaps, but anyway, that's there. We also picked up the next in the line of the Liberty Walk, Liberty Works R35 kits. This is being the, I don't even know what at this point, the version 2, Type 2 version 1. So this takes the version 2 kit, adds in all of the aero packages from the 2017 to make it a 2017 spec car. Basically, what we're doing is taking this from the 2014 spec to 2017 spec. So a lot of the parts that they tooled up in the last kit in terms of the lights and the front end and things like that for the 2017 model year are in this, and then new front end, I think the fenders up front are new because they fit into the new front end. There's new rear end pieces, and new rear diffuser, a bunch of new pieces were tooled up for this specifically to match the 2017 body style. And you're on your way. I really like this color. I like to know what color this is because I would buy a bottle of this paint to paint this way. I'm not totally sold on doing all of the Liberty Walk kits in their box art displays, but I really like this burnt copper color. I wonder if it's how close the color from that AMG, the Battlefield color is. With that, or not with that, but also available for the Liberty Walk kits. Now, this is a generic set. It can be used for any of the Liberty Walk kits. You notice there are 5 of them here because peeking through back here is the Advan car that will be coming out next month. You get basically two styles of wing braces with the 2 styles of end caps. The GT1 style wing that the Type 1 has and the GT3 style wing that the Type 2 has. You have the different style front grille intakes for both the 2014 and 2017 spec. A couple different variations for the bottom mesh, the radiator, your brakes, and then you have 4 turn metal exhaust tips too. So this, like I said, because these are designed to fit either or, there's just this one photo etch set that covers all 5. So if you want one, keep that in mind. That photo etch set will fit any of them. Next up from Aoshima, we have the big like double DIN box. This box is really ridiculously thick for the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. There's about 4 runners of new parts in this all together. The wheels are obviously new. There's a new front. Basically, they went ahead and just made a whole new front fascia for this because this whole front end down here is different. The side skirts are different. The rear diffuser is different, so they created a whole new rear end piece for this as well. The spoiler is new. The engine bay compartment area is also new. There's some new pieces for the engine itself as well to make the top end of it look like the Performante pieces. So that is out and available. I really don't have any kind of additional photos here, but you can see here the difference in the back end. If you have a regular Huracan, close by where you can compare it to, also available for is a factory photo etch set for that as well. This has a set of photo etch in it, as well as some metal transfers for the mirrors and the Lamborghini logos on the top of the valve covers. It has a painted set of photo etch for the gauge clusters, as well as all of your wheel logos, your steering wheel, and all of your external Lamborghini logos. And then there is a pair of turned metal exhaust pipes there. You see you've got the new exhaust grill there, your bigger brakes in here, and a few other little bits and pieces here. Some of this is a little redundant when you have these Lamborghini photo etch that isn't painted, when you have the Lamborghini photo etch that is painted. So your choice if you want to use one or the other or neither. And then lastly in this video, we have the Lancia Delta S4 B-Max kit. So also was in this kit on the live stream last night for people who tuned in, which I think by the time I got into these kits, we had like 3 people watching and 2 of them were us. This has the iconic Martini livery in it, and it is the iconic Martini livery in it. We've had a discussion on a couple different groups of friends now as to why the Martini thing is okay, but cigarette sponsorships are not. I'm assuming that because a lot of people don't realize that it's Martini and Rossi, the alcohol company. A lot of people probably at this point associate Martini with Martini Racing and think that it's just some guy's last name, and he likes to sponsor cars, and he likes having a gold, yellow, or gold, blue, and red color scheme. But no, for those young folks out there who are probably, like, say, less than 40 or so, because that would be, to me, around the time that Martini Rossi sort of lost its popularity, was when I was a teenager. Yeah, this is an alcohol company. So I don't know why this is okay, but it is. This is a 3-port body. The front end, the middle, and the back end are all separate pieces. This kit, because it is one of the very first run kits, includes 2 middles. Apparently there was something wrong with the production run, and instead of pooling the kits, they just they ran off a whole bunch of middles for the cabin and threw them in. So I've did a little test fitting last night with mine, and the front end does appear to fit better on one of the middles than it does on the other, but we're talking like, not microscopically, but not enough where I'd be like, oh my god, thank god there's a new middle to this. So I really haven't test fit the back end because the way this kit is packaged, there is dunnage, as I would call it as a truck driver, a loop and things like here to keep the cab from collapsing sideways on itself. So it's kind of impossible to test fit the rear end without cutting that all apart, and I'm not going to do that until I really get started with this. But there's a full detail engine in here. This little 4-banger that was in this car was turbocharged and supercharged. It is a space frame car as far as tubular chassis. Not having the engine with a giant open-ended back end like it is would be very obvious, and probably no real way to do that in a curbside effectively, because it would just make it look like crap, frankly. When you take a look at how this car sits, the whole back end of it really is mesh, either the screen door mesh in the kit, or you can get the photo etch set. But this is all mesh, and like I said, there's really no back bumper to this car in real life, so it's very open to the rear, and not including the whole engine back here would have been unthinkable. I don't think there's a way to get around that. So this will be, of course, as we talked about it numerous times as it was in development, this is B-Max's first 1/24 scale full detail kit. They've done a couple of F1 cars in 1/20 scale that are full detail, but this is the first car scale, if you will, full detail kit. So there's that, and because we showed it to you, so I kind of mentioned it, there is, of course, these sold separately photo etch sets for the car. This is a pretty robust photo etch set. You're getting your seatbelt decals, the thread to make the seatbelts themselves. This here has the antenna in it, which was much better scale than the actual antenna of the car is. This first piece of photo etch here is very thick. It includes your mud flaps and one of the boxes. I believe this is actually the oil cooler box. The second sheet has some more thicker pieces. The front lip spoiler and things like that, and also has another big piece of tin work that you bend. This piece back here is more of your typical photo etch thickness. It has a lot of the grills and mesh and that. And then, of course, there are 3 sheets of carbon fiber decals in here included as well, which I'm not sure are actually represented. Oh, they are on this back here. So I know I'm showing you a picture of a picture of a picture here, but this longer piece here is for the bottom of the chassis. These pieces here, which obviously have the seat back cutouts, are for the interior, like the interior side of the chassis pan. And then this one here down here is what you consider to be more traditional carbon fiber, because these are sort of a yellow weave, and this is a regular high def black weave, and that is for the rear spoiler, this part right here, and then the inner rear fender wells on the inside of the engine base. So very cool to have them go ahead and make a very robust detail upset for this. It's probably the most expensive one that they've done. It's 2,800 yen versus, you know, $14-15, or so it's $27 versus like $14-15 for the other ones. But you get a lot in there, and it'll really, I think, make the kit pop as far as you know, adding detail. Things like the mud flaps, the oil cooler box, and the box. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think it's an air intake box because it sits right underneath the air intake on the hood. Those pieces are not in there in styrene. There is no mud flaps in this kit, and those 2 pieces of tin work are not in the kit otherwise. So it kind of leans a little bit towards that Hobby Nunu, where you don't get certain pieces of the M6 without the photo etch. But you know, it is what it is. They made their decision, and you just sort of have to live with it, I guess. But anyway, guys, that wraps up this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.